So you want to play, build, and collect Warhammer models, but you don't know where to start. With Ninth Edition coming out this year, this is the perfect time for any new players to jump into the hobby, as well as a lot of the players will be back at square one with them. The one thing you will notice immediately, though, is, wow, these are super expensive. And yes, they are. 40k is not just the name of the game, but also the price it costs to collect pretty much every model. Probably more. So here's why I chose Chaos Demons as my models. Warhammer is broken into two separate games, each with its own rules, factions, lore, setting. There is the high fantasy-based Age of Sigmar, and the grim sci-fi-based 40k. When I began, I started with the Necrons for 40k because Ryan had convinced me that I was going to just be playing 40k. I didn't really know much about Warhammer at the time, but I also started to notice the Age of Sigmar stuff and realized a lot of the video games I own were based in the Warhammer 40k Age of Sigmar setting. I started doing the math and decided that if I wanted to ensure my child goes to college, I had to pick just one of the games or factions. Or do I? Let's insert the Chaos Demons. What's so cool about these ugly fellas and ladies is they are shared between both games. Age of Sigmar and 40k share the same evil gods and monsters, so if you collect these, you can play them in both games. Granted, Sigmar has them split up into two separate factions, so you only have to pick one of the 4 different Chaos Demon gods, but that's still a pretty good deal. That's practically 2 armies for the cost of 1. You may be thinking, wow, that's really cool, but I don't know where to start. Luckily for you, I've broken down all the math on why this is the best budget faction to pick. First thing you're going to need are some models to start building and some money, a good amount of money. I never said this was going to be cheap. This is the best budget army. Best way to get started, of course, is this Wrath of Rapture box. It starts at $160, but you can usually find it for a little cheaper on online stores. But it'll hook you up with a good rulebook for Age of Sigmar, a good rulebook for 40k, some tokens and cardboard rulers so that you can measure out stuff on the table, a lore book for fluff, and 38 models from the Khorne demons, the Diablo-looking fellas, and some of the creepy Hellraiser-based-esque Slaanesh demons. First, I'm going to start off with what you get on the Khorne half of the box set. You get 10 Bloodletters, which are the Diablo-looking guys. That's $36 on the Games Workshop website. You get 5 Fleshhounds, which is $50 on the Games Workshop website. You get 3 of the Blood Crushers, which is roughly $50. They sell them in a pack of 6 for $100, so I did simple math, divided it by 2, and you get 50. And you get 1 Karanak, which is a 3-headed dog monster. He's $36. He's going to be your HQ for the whole thing on the Khorne Army side. If you add those together, that's already $172 a la carte, and that's just half of it so far. You also get 10 Daemonettes, which are $36, 5 Seekers, which are $29, 3 Fiends, which terrify me like no joke. Those things scare the heck out of me for some reason. Those are $50, and 1 Infernal Enchantress for $40. That's another $155 for just the Slaanesh half of the box. That's $327 if you had spent the money a la carte on the Games Workshop website. Plus you get some of the neat books, side stuff, and some lore fleshed out as well. All of this works for both games as well, so in theory you're getting $654 worth of models because it works in both 40k and Age of Sigmar. So now that you've bought the box, don't leave the hobby store just yet because you're going to need a little bit more in order to start building these. I know you just spent over $100 on these, but I'm sorry. You're going to need to grab some clippers, plastic glue, X-Acto knife, or mold line remover. You don't need both, the X-Acto knife or the mold line remover. Mold line remover, X-Acto knife work kind of the same. I highly suggest, buying the Essentials pack that comes from Games Workshop. It comes with glue, clippers, a brush to kind of start off, and 2 of the paint colors you're going to need to start with the Khorne side in the future if you decide to go with the basic build. Now that you have all of that, you can eventually just kind of go home and start building and start collecting your army. But later you're going to want a can of Mephiston Red Paint Prime for the Khorne Army. You're going to want Abaddon Black and Balthasar Gold, but those come in that Essentials thing that I told you to buy earlier, which you bought earlier because it comes with the clippers too. If you got all of that, you're set. I also highly recommend buying the Citadel Water Pot. It's really, really good. And grab some of these handles so that you can hold your minions better whenever you're trying to paint them and helps you get to like different angles. Of course, all of this is just suggestions. I really recommend you kind of go in knowing what game you want to play between Age of Sigmar or 40k. If you know you're going to play Age of Sigmar and you know you don't want to play Chaos Demons, then don't go Chaos Demons. In the end, you need to pick something that you really want to play as. So research what the models look like, research kind of how they play, research the lore and everything around them, and figure out if like that's really what you want to do. If you are only wanting to play the little 40k universe and you want to play as Chaos Space Marines, just pick up Chaos Space Marines. If you're looking to just play Age of Sigmar, just look into what they are. I'd probably play the Seraphim if I only played the Age of Sigmar, but because I'm playing both games right now, I really lean towards the Chaos Demons because they're on both. The 9th edition of Warhammer 40k will probably be launched sometime in July. It looks like they're saying July 11th is going to be the release date for the pre-orders, and July 25th will be whenever you can actually start picking up everything. It's a great time for everyone who's always been kind of curious if they want to go into this thing to jump on and kind of start at the same level as everyone else. Of course, you won't have the same amount of models or anything like that, but you will be able to start off with the rules and everything around the same time. I hope everyone thought this video was good and educational, and of course, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Please like, listen, and subscribe.